Hello friends, welcome to 𝑯𝒐𝒓𝒊𝒛𝒐𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍 video session 153. So basically in today's video we will cover the two charts at one go, which is the horizontal dot plot and the vertical dot plot, which comes under the uh, uh, yeah, basically that one we will cover. So here circles and dots, okay, which comes under circles and dots. So let's quickly jump into this. So here I will just open this data set, and very quickly I will jump to this horizontal dot plot. Okay, so that's the thing about horizontal dot plot. Okay, with one axis only you can do this, which is fine. Okay, but I think it will make sense if we have at least one or two measures as well. Okay, but anyways we will walk through that, not an issue. Now here what I will do is under y instead of, so when you have two axes I think it's better to go for you know under y-axis, let's say I go for this one, that is stage bucket. Okay, which is fine. And for bubble size, let's say I go for the average of amount. Okay, and for bubbles maybe I can go for I think here I can choose something like, okay, maybe what we can do is we can walk through this later, but I think with these two only we can just check out how this chart basically works out. Okay, now here what I will do is I will quickly go for the horizontal dot plot, and as you can see, yeah, here we have only the preserve levels, which is fine. Okay, so if you want to preserve the level or if you want to fit it, this is how it will get fit. Okay, and if you preserve the level, that's how it comes up. Okay, so I think we can go for this fit. So auto fit is like choose the scaling to apply to the chart to fit the content measure. So to completely fit, it basically shows up. And if you don't want to start the axis as 0, it won't start. Okay, so if you want to start, then definitely, as you can see, this is coming up over here. If you don't want to start it, then it won't start up. Okay, and the x-axis and y-axis I'm not walking through because it is basically the same. Okay, now maybe I can put the bubble size into consideration. So what I will do is I will go for average of amount. Okay, and at the same time for bubbles I can choose I think I can go for okay, let me go for stage. Okay, that's completely fine. Let me go for stage. Now, as you can see here, like basically it's defining me all the stages. Fine. Okay, that's what it's defining. Like under closed stages, as we know, like we will have definitely the closed lost and closed wound, which makes sense. And all open stages, these are all the stages. Okay, so that's a good thing. Like basically, I have defined like what are the stages over here and what are the open stages for here, and these are defined by the legends. And basically, the average of amount you can measure by this particular size of it. Okay, so basically, if it's on the higher side, it's like 1.8 million, and if it's on the this list is 801K. Okay, so that part has been added over here. Okay, so now let's check on the horizontal plot. Okay, preserve levels, y-axis, x-axis. I think legends and all these are all the same things. Fine, the legends and everything we can just apply the way we have done previously. Okay, so this is about the horizontal dot plot. So I can very quickly name it as horizontal dot plot. Okay, and maybe I can just quickly save it also as. Now what I will do is I will just duplicate this one and I will go for the next one, which is vertical dot plot. So again I will go for the same data set. Okay, and here I will just go for the vertical dot plot, which is fine. And if I go for vertical dot plot, I will just again choose the recursive things which are required. So maybe I can just again choose the stage bucket. Okay, so this is how this vertical plot, as the name suggests, horizontal plot is like it's done horizontally plotted, and vertical is like it's vertically plotted away. And other than that, nothing much of a difference. Here also is the same thing. So if you want to start it, you can start the axis from 0. Okay, and if you don't want to start it, you don't have to start it. Basically from the whichever portion that first part will start from there, it will start up. Okay, that's the way it is. And yeah, for x-axis and y-axis, the options are again similar till whatever we have covered. Okay, now what I can do is I can bring the bubble size and that one. Okay, so here I will go for, instead of count of rows I can go for sum of amount. Okay, that's how it comes up. And under bubble size I can take the average of amount. Okay, and for bubbles maybe I can take again the stage part. Okay, now as you can see, it's just that it got shifted, right? Like for example, this particular thing, okay, this particular thing, if you just see over here, it's nothing but I think it got shifted to uh, shifted by 90 degree. Yeah, shifted by 90 degree, that's it. Okay, so that's how the graph is also like. So for example, you have the y-axis and you have the x-axis. Okay, if you shift it by 90 degree, it's like it becomes the other way around. So that's what this whole concept is also all about. So basically the horizontal dot plot and vertical dot plot is actually the same thing. Okay, like if you keep the other stuffs which you have taken over here as constant, and it's just that it got converted by 90 degree, the axis got converted by 90 degree. Okay, and of course, like for the horizontal dot plot, I'm sorry for the, or first of all let me just quickly name the title as well. Let's save it. So as you can actually see over here, okay, so for the horizontal dot plot, for example, on the x-axis you have taken the sum of amount. So that sum of amount you actually have to take on the y-axis. Okay, that's what it happens if you go for vertical dot plot. Okay, the y-axis will be nothing but the sum of amount, something which was here on the x-axis. Okay, and for the x-axis, for the y-axis we have taken the stage bucket, and here of course under x-axis you will have the stage bucket. This is the other way around, right? And similarly the bubble size, I mean the average of amount is fine, because at the end of the day both are represented by bubble. Okay, and the bubbles are nothing but the dimension which you have to put into picture, and that is also represented by same thing. Fine. So yeah, definitely one thing is that the options are actually similar for horizontal dot plot and vertical dot plot. If you see, the auto fit is there in both the cases, and you have that option of choosing the axis at 0 or not. Then on the y-axis and x-axis you have that particular options. Now one thing to notice of course is that the reference line. So the reference line here will be of course on the x-axis. So if I go for the reference line very quickly, so here I'm adding the reference line, and if I come over here, I think the reference line will be the other way around, which is okay. So as you can see, under x-axis you don't have that. Here you have under x-axis, right? Under x-axis you have the reference line, and here if you go for the y-axis you will have the reference line over here. Okay, okay, fine. So maybe I can very quickly save it also. That's fine. So basically, the basic concept to remember here is that horizontal dot plot and vertical dot plot are nothing but the same thing. It's just that the axis got converted by 90 degree. Okay, that's the thing over here. And based on that only, now you can differentiate or about the other differences. For example, the measure fields you can actually on the horizontal dot plot, the measure fields you can take on the x-axis, and it's the reverse in the vertical dot plot. You have to take the measures on the y-axis. The dimensions is something that take on the y-axis in horizontal dot plot, and basically it's the other way around over there. And the bubble size will actually remain the same, the bubble size and bubbles, because these are repetitive with bubbles. And as you can see here, basically here of course it's not much of a difference. Okay, but if you see, usually if the value is on the larger side, then the size will be actually much more larger. Fine, as you can see, this is like much more larger over here. I can feel it right over here. Similarly, if I go to the other one also, okay, I do feel that this is one of the larger. Okay, the average of amount, that is 1 million, and here if you see, the average of amount is also like somewhere 1 million, but this is a bit higher side, so that's why this size is also a bit bigger. Okay, and that's why we can differentiate. That's not an issue. Fine, this is the whole thing about this one. So yeah, more or less this is whole thing about the horizontal dot plot and the vertical dot plot. So of course, we have actually covered all the things under the circles and dots. We have walked through the donut, scatter plot, horizontal dot plot, and vertical dot plot. Of course, in the next session, we will actually understand the difference between each one of them. But as I was going through session by session, I have already covered like what is the ideal difference between each one of them. Fine. So yeah, that's it about this one. And of course, the reference line also, like the reference line is something you can just add when it comes to the horizontal dot plot. You can add it under x-axis, right? Because wherever you have the dimension, always remember this, like on the axis, but wherever you have the dimension, there only you can add the reference line. There was a bit of difference in earlier stages, like not a difference, but some additional reference line were there for particular charts, which we will cover when we will just go through the whole charts, okay? But ideally, otherwise, nothing much of differences there, okay? So whenever you have measures, you will always have the reference line. So that's why under x-axis you have this, and in the other way it will be under y-axis, okay? So the thing is that if you just remember one of them, if the interview asks you such question is asked like what is the difference between horizontal dot plot and vertical dot plot, you just have to remember one part of that, and you have to remember that it's just the opposite of that portion, okay? With that conceptual level being understood, that it's nothing but just rotated by 90 degrees, right? So yeah, that's it about this one. Maybe once again I can just click on save, which is fine. And yeah, let's meet very soon in our next video, where we will actually cover about the complete revision. We will do a complete revision of the circles and dots, all the subcharts which are present under circles and dots. So yeah, thank you.